chicken laser about SKYNET tissue jare mi ba tu pi tu bound ni ko bound ma kya di ni ကျွန်တော်တို့အဖွဲ့က SKYNET အဖွဲ့ကကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ Canadian တန်ယုံကိုကျွန်တော်ရောက်နေပါတယ်ရောက်နေပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့Canadian တာမကြီးပေါ့နော်သူနဲ့ကျွန်တော် interview လာလုပ်ပါတယ်သူနာမည်ကတော့ Excellency Mark McDowell ခေါ်ပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီထူးခြားတာတစ်ခုကကျွန်တော်တို့မြန်မာနိုင်ငံနဲ့ဒီ Canada နိုင်ငံကကျွန်တော်တန်တမန်ဆက်ဆံရေးကကျွန်တော်တို့နိုင်ငံရဲ့လွတ်လပ်ရေးရပြီးနောက်ပိုင်းမှာကျွန်တော်တို့စတင်ခဲ့ပါတယ်သို့တော်လည်းအကြောင်းကြောင့်ပေါ့ဗျာသူတို့နဲ့ကျွန်တော်နေဝဲခဲ့ကြတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့သူတို့ကကျွန်တော်တို့ပြစ်မထားဘူးသူတို့ကကျွန်တော်တို့တတ်နိုင်တဲ့အကူအညီတွေပေးနေပါတယ် sanction တော့ရှိတာပေါ့အဲ့ဒီတော့သို့တော်လည်းသူတို့ humanitarian အဲ့ဒါhumanitarian ကိစ္စနော် grassroots level အောက်ခြေလူသားအဲ့ဒါတွေကိုသူတို့ကျန်းမာရေးအဲ့ဒါတွေဖွံ့ဖြိုးဖို့တဲ့သူတို့ကူညီနေပါတယ်ကူညီခဲ့ပါတယ်အခုတော့သမကြီးက2013နှစ်ကစပြီးတော့မှဗမာပြည်မှာလာပြီးတော့တန်ယုံကိုပထမဆုံးဖွင့်တန်ယုံဖွင့်နေပထမဆုံးတန်ယုံဖွင့်နေသမကြီးတဲ့ဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒါမှမဟုတ်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီဟာတိတ်ပြီးတော့မှအရေးကြီးတဲ့ interview လည်းဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒါပထမဆုံးကျွန်တော်တို့ SKYNET နဲ့ဒါဒီသမကြီးကနေဒါနိုင်ငံရဲ့သမကြီးပေါ့ဗျာဒီသမကြီးမဟုတ်ပါကနေဒါသမကြီးကိုပထမဆုံးကြီး interview လုပ်တာဖြစ်ပါတယ်အဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်တို့အခုကျွန်တော်နှစ်ဦးကသူဟာဗမာနိုင်ငံကို2013ကလာပြီးတော့နေလာခဲ့ပြီးမဲ့လဲတာမကြီးဖြစ်ခဲ့ပြီးမဲ့ဒီမတိုင်မီမှာသူကကျွန်တော်တို့နိုင်ငံကိုဘန်ကောက်ကနေမှသူကတော်တော်ကြာဘန်ကောက်မှာတာဝန်တိုင်ရုံးမှာတာဝန်ထမ်းဆောင်ရင်းနဲ့ကနေဒါတိုင်ရုံးမှာတာဝန်ထမ်းဆောင်ရင်ဒီဘက်ကိုခုကအမြဲကူညီခဲ့တယ်အချိန်ပေါင်းလဲ20လောက်လာပြီးကူညီခဲ့တယ်ဆိုတော့အဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်တို့သူတို့အရင်ကလည်းကူညီခဲ့တယ်အခုလဲသူကလက်ရှိအစိုးရအသစ်လက်ထက်မှာသူရှေ့ဘာလုပ်မလဲဟာလားအဲ့ဒါလည်းသူပြောပြကျွန်တော်တို့ဆွေးနွေးကြပါပါအဲ့တော့ဒီချာလေးကြည့်ရှုနားထောင်ကြပါခင်ဗျာ Excellency I just said to my audience in our own language and that I'm so proud that to have this exclusive interview with you because you are the first Canada's first ever resident ambassador to Myanmar. So we are very proud. So that is why I said to my audience that, and also I explained about that we have diplomatic relations immediately after our independence. You know, then it's a long. But of course we understand. I explained that due to some problems, we stayed a little distance. But you never leave us. You just help us humanitarian and grassroots level and Colombo plan, you know, yes, something like that. So these are things that I said the people, our people, audience will be very happy to hear from you. So Excellency, so as I mentioned to you that I am so really very much honored and very proud to have this exclusive interview with Canada's first ever resident ambassador in Myanmar. And I heard that 2013 you gave credentials to our former President U Thein Sein. So before that, Excellency, and I learned about that you were posted in Embassy of Canada in Bangkok.
Correct.
Accrediting to Myanmar from 2003 to 2007.
Yes.
And you visited Myanmar for more than 20 times, many times. So can you, Excellency, briefly share your past experiences regarding your involvement in Myanmar and how you involved in this country previously, please?
Maybe if you'll let me, I'll talk just a minute or two about Canada's involvement with Myanmar, and then we'll talk about.
No problem, sir.
Then we'll rejoin the story when I joined the relationship fairly late. So you made a very good point, which is although I'm the first resident ambassador, it's not as if Canada has been completely absent from Myanmar forever. So Canada did recognize Myanmar immediately after independence, and we had a very active program of development assistance here with the Colombo Plan. Many of you who live in Yangon know that the Yangon Children's Hospital was funded and built with Canadian cooperation, Canadian technology. Also Dagata Bridge.
Excellency.
Yes.
I remember the Yangon Children's Hospital, the old one.
Yes.
With the maple.
Has a maple leaf on the.
There.
If you go to the old Yangon Children's Hospital, the front entrance, left-hand side of the front entrance, there's the cornerstone has a maple leaf with the year 1970 something
really?
on it. Yeah. So that was an era when Canada was becoming more active here, and as you said, it was that relationship was interrupted for almost a whole generation because of political problems. So, but when we decided to reopen an embassy, and that decision was made in 2012 because of the incredible changes that were going on in this country, we've made a decision to kind of make up for lost time. So we really feel like we've lost 25 years in this relationship, and the job of our embassy now is to rebuild those positive relationships that existed before, and as I said, catch up for all those years we missed. My relationship with Myanmar doesn't go back that far, but it does go back at least to 2003, when I was the head of the political section in the Embassy of Canada in Bangkok. And one of my tasks was, I was actually the only person who regularly came to Burma, Myanmar during that time. And I visited more than 20 times over those 4 years. And I became very fascinated with the country immediately. Of course, fascinated with the culture and so on, but it was also a very interesting time politically because, as you may remember, in 2004, 2005, there were some stirrings of civil society was becoming more lively.
Yeah.
There were a lot of democracy activists were released from incarceration. So it was a very positive time, and it was we had a chance to meet with environmental activists, democracy activists, people who were involved in HIV, education, health causes. It was a really remarkable time, and I feel like I sort of failed in a way because I didn't make it clear well enough to our headquarters about the really dynamic changes that were happening at that time. So I sort of feel like maybe I wasn't a success in conveying that at that time, and so also this is I get a fresh chance now to be more communicative with Canada about what's happening here in this country.
Good. So, Excellency, yeah, I understand that like I mentioned that now after the 2013, you have seen a lot of changes here. You witnessed the past the transformation of President U Thein Sein administration, and you have also witnessed the free and fair election.
Yes.
And I heard that you're so much involved, and you've been running there and looking at the polling station, and then November 2015. Now you are still in Myanmar during this new administration led by Daw San Suu Kyi. So with your vast knowledge on Myanmar, because you have 20 times, and with the President U Thein Sein time and the elections and so on and so forth, on Myanmar, kindly share your view regarding the challenges which the new government could face during their term of office.
Right. Well, the changes since I first came to Myanmar a decade ago are incredible. The civil liberties, the freedom of expression, freedom of broadcasting, broadcasting,
we're
TV,
very free.
we can say whatever we want, positive or negative. But the problem is those are hard-won freedoms, and they're very important. But democracy alone, maybe it's necessary but not sufficient condition for a very developed society. So I think a lot of the problems that Daw San Suu Kyi and President Tin Jaw and the government face are the problems that face any poor developing country, and that's things like health, education, transportation, those types of issues. The complication here, of course, is that you also have a process of national reconciliation that's occurring at the same time, and there's an interaction between those two. And if the process of national reconciliation can be accomplished and fighting stopped, then that'll have a very positive effect on stability and the economy. But it's a tremendous challenge, and so that's why we wanted to open the embassy. We wanted to see for ourselves what's happening, and we wanted to play maybe in a very small way some sort of positive role in that change. So you'll remember that when our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Stéphane Dion, was here April 6 to 8, he announced a small package of development assistance for Myanmar, about $44 million Canadian dollars.
It's not a small package, sir. But
well,
anyway.
The needs are very big.
Very big.
You know, it's a start, and we're looking at, you know, we're not a big embassy, and we don't have infinite amount of money, but we want to target our assistance in some areas that we think we can play a very positive role. And one of those is discussions about governance, federalism, because Canada has dealt with many of the same questions that Myanmar has as well.
Yes.
People in Myanmar think of Canada as a very strange country, maybe a very far away. It's cold, it's distant, but actually Canada and Myanmar have a lot in common. We have this, you know, we have a multicultural, multi-religious, multi-ethnic, multi-linguistic society.
Yes.
We've dealt with a lot of problems, challenges of, for example, indigenous people or conflict between language groups.
Yes.
And I won't say that Canada's solved those problems, but we've muddled through. You know, we've managed to build a very prosperous, peaceful society. So those are some of the issues that I think we can share, and I believe in the press conference that Aung San Suu Kyi held with our Minister Stéphane Dion, she also said that, and I think the quote was, Canada understands perhaps better than many other countries these types of challenges.
Yes.
So I really hope we can play a positive role there. And then on the side of sustainable economic growth, you know, countries that are developing countries, poorer countries, are often tempted by kind of get-rich-quick growth, you know, natural resource extraction or things like that. And I think it's very important for Myanmar to take advantage of its latecomer status. It's been able to see all kinds of mistakes that have been made by other countries in the region and around the world. And I hope to plan its economic development in a more kind of long-term rational way, integrating things like environmental impact assessment, social impact assessment, the long-term costs and benefits to the communities. And that's an area where I hope Canada can play a role, both with development assistance, but also with trade and investment.
Excellency.
Yes.
When you said previously, you mentioned about well, you are late, you latecomer here, but sometimes I really like, you have a lot of ways that although the latecomer, but you can learn a lot of the difficulties and the need, and then you learn from the early comers, you know.
That's exactly.
So you don't have to worry, sir, because it's never too late to man.
That's right.
So anyway, so now you mentioned that you've been looking for the opportunities and to help this country, to develop this country under the leadership of Aung San Suu Kyi, and you know very well, Excellency, that the 70% of the people are living in the rural areas,
right,
and 30% are in the urban areas.
Right.
You know? So this is I believe that it will be in future it will be a headache for previous government also. They'll have headache, and also the present government also have to face that. You know, I think it's very, very important that you know, to the migration quality of the rural people to the urban areas where we need a lot of housing, you know, and then it's too congested. And so I think that, Excellency, in your opinion, you know, if this could be achieved, if the rural folks do not need to come to towns to seek employment, such being the case, if rural development and capacity building for rural population could be implemented, then wealth in the rural areas could be generated and thereby elevated rapid urban migration.
Right.
In this sense, could you kindly share your thoughts on any rural development plan that Canada intends to implement for Myanmar? Okay,
so that's an enormous challenge for Myanmar. So 55 million people in the country, 70%, so it's at 38 million, 38 million people in a rural area. Under normal circumstances, we might see 20 million people migrating to the cities over the next generation.
Yes.
So obviously, our development projects are not going to make a big dent in that, but I'll give you an example of one one project that we've announced in that package announced by our minister, and that is there was a program by MEDA, which is a Canadian NGO, Mennonite Economic Development Alliance, and it's a program that's targeted at women entrepreneurs in the rural area. So basically, it's teaching women how to become sort of rural small business people and dealing with agricultural products. So perhaps growing higher quality products that can be processed and value added to and exported either internally or perhaps eventually internationally. And with the idea that Myanmar has a great potential for agriculture and agricultural processing, agri-food, and that's a way to generate income and jobs in the rural areas.
Yes.
So this project is taking place mostly in Shan and Cayenne states.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Shan and Cayenne states. Okay. So, in fact, earlier today we had a meeting with 5 of the local NGOs that are working with this Canadian NGO, MEDA. And MEDA has got a lot of experience in other places in Latin America and other countries in the world. So I think that's the kind of maybe demonstration project. So if it works well in a couple of these very different rural settings, maybe it's something that can be scaled up to larger nationwide or statewide in Myanmar. Yes. So there's a very practical thing. And we want to focus on very practical measures because that's what the country needs. It needs some quick wins, you know.
You are wise and your government is wise because the hand of the rocking, you know, the women is in this country is very, very important. You know? And especially, of course, if you help them, the rural areas for the women. And I believe, Excellency, that it will also fit into your Prime Minister's gender equality. Am I right,
yes.
sir?
Yes. So our Prime Minister is very focused on gender equality. It's very famous that